Something that feels so criminal to not know is the fact that if you want to be more attractive, nerd out. Be a nerd. Be a geek. Be passionate about a topic. Please, please be interesting. Be interested. I feel like we are losing something that is so important to the backbone of society, which is being a nerd. Because nerds, they give us something to live for. All of the best artists in the world were nerds. They were. You need to nerd out. You need to nerd out. I feel very passionately about this because I think that we have been basically neutered in modern day society. We have been kind of put into one algorithm. Everyone knows the same memes. Everyone is running all over the place, blue in the face, looking like Sonic. And it's funny and it's great. And, it's awesome that when you go on Spotify Wrapped, everyone's, oh, you got him as your, top artist, or them as their top artist. That's awesome. We've all become the same. And I think that in so many ways, it's great. We can relate to each other so easily. But man, can we switch the language? Can we switch the language, bro? Can we nerd out about something new? Can we find something that we find interesting and share it with the world? Jeez, I'm in a windstorm right now, and I find being outside interesting. I find talking into a camera interesting, and I am willing to share that. I'm willing to put, my foot down and be like, this is important to me. And my only ask of you is that you find something that's important to you, because I think that's important. You finding something important and sharing it with other people is very important. It is very important, because there are things that we don't know we should care about that you could show us and make us care about. But I think there's a lot of suppression. I think that being a nerd has been made like this bad thing. But honestly, being a nerd is very attractive. Let me tell you right now. Someone who is passionate about something, oh my God. You're getting a slowed and reverbed, oh my God, for that one. Seriously. I feel like one of the best things you can do is be a well-rounded person, and that comes from being interested in a lot of different things. And also just kind of, rolling with what life blows at you. Like this wind, dude. What is going on? In beautiful sunny Austin, Texas, during the sunset here. Man. I think a lot of us got bullied out of being a nerd very early on. We learned that being a nerd is not cool when you're trying to conform with the rest of your peers. Of course, it's never going to be cool right away. Nothing is cool until it clicks. I have a really good friend of mine who I admired all throughout my childhood and into adulthood. He is a yo-yoer. Shouts out to you, Jonathan, if you're listening. But he was a yo-yoer, and he would make videos about yo-yoing. He went to national competitions for yo-yoing. And I remember when he was getting started in middle school with his yo-yoing journey, he was documenting it. He was posting it. And he got made fun of, as any kid would. But Jonathan was different because he nerded out about yo-yoing, but he turned it into a deep passion, and he made something work out of that. And he was able to low-key travel the world yo-yoing, which is sick. So sick. And that happened after he stuck with it. After he was like, I don't care what anyone's going to think about this. I find this really cool. And, people are hitting me up to do yo-yo reviews. I'm going to yo-yo conventions. And it you will not realize it in the moment, but the nerds in your surrounding are going to do some of the coolest things. They're going to be some of the coolest people. Nerds age like fine wine. So if you want a future partner, get yourself a nerd. A nerd. Because you need to nerd out. And you know what helps with nerding out? Being around nerds. Like being around people who are passionate. Not about the same things as you, although that's also really, really good. But switch it up. Like find other people who are super passionate and super driven in whatever niche thing that they're interested in. Man, I'm sorry. I just think that you are suppressing a lot of your growth by not taking yourself seriously, by not taking your interests and your hobbies seriously. Because what else is the point? What, like just like being nonchalant forever? No! No! Come on. Well, I don't know. And I get it. There's a certain aura to not caring about anything and being like, I don't care, you know, what? Oh yeah, well, whatever. I'm trying to riz right now or whatever. But guess what? Being a nerd is in and aura is out, okay? You want actual aura? Be a nerd. Because you're going to build on being a nerd. And people who are real recognize real. Remember that. So nerds recognize nerds. And I'm telling you, nerds appreciate and value because people who are nonchalant their entire life, they're just following. They're just following. They're not making anything happen. They're not doing anything incredible for themselves. They're just nonchalant. That is it. It is cool to care. It is cool to have an opinion. It is cool to voice that opinion. It is cool to have an idea, have a certain fit in mind, and risk your aura being impacted because you rock, you know, a Fairy Odd Parents t-shirt at school because you like Fairy Odd Parents, you know? Who cares? It's cool to wear a chowder hat on campus. You know what I'm saying? Like, real recognize real. Who cares? Nerd out. I'm a nerd about airplanes. Every airplane that flies in the sky, I look at it. And I used to be able to tell like every airline that was, you know, painted on the outside because I was a nerd and I'm still a nerd. Oh my goodness. I am a nerd at heart. Football, soccer, I'm a nerd. Oh my goodness. The different leagues. I learned geography through football. That's how I learned it. Chelsea, London. Okay. Manchester United, Manchester. Okay. You know. Brighton, that was a new addition. I didn't know Brighton was like, you know, by the sea. You can actually like, they have like beaches and stuff in the UK. My UK fam, how are the beaches out there? Should I pull up? Oh my goodness. And we got, a lot of love for the UK. England. What are y'all eating? Because jellied eel, wow. That's all. Y'all conquered the world, and that was the best you could come up with was jellied eel. But it doesn't matter because now you got the most fire underground rap scene like in the entire world. Shout out Fang. Who else can I shout out? Shout out YT. If you're not tapped in, okay, to those nostalgic UK music videos, like the ones that look like GTA and look like Fruitiger or like all those like cool aesthetics, man, tap in. You are doing yourself a disservice. Please. Lauza, I'm looking at you. Fire stuff. They're producing crazy stuff in the UK right now, and we're just all ignoring it. Tap in. UK Underground. Tap in. You need to nerd out. You need to nerd out. You're passionate about music. Okay. You need to nerd out about it. You need to tell your friends that they should listen to this obscure album, to this reggaeton artist that no one's ever heard of from Chile or from Argentina. You need to nerd out. All of my favorite memories, without fail, with my friends have been the car rides where they put me on to a new artist that at first I'm like, what is this? And then I add all of their songs to my playlist. I'm addicted to it by the end. But people are too afraid of how they're going to come off, and people are too afraid of being judged for having taste and having a different opinion that they suppress that. Why? Why? And I get it. You know what? I get it, because I think the baseline of nerding out is you have to respect somebody when they nerd out. You don't have to agree with their opinion. You don't have to agree with whatever they like. But I think hearing out somebody is important. And maybe we don't do that enough. Like, maybe we're very quick to judge. And people be sensitive, bro. Like, sometimes I've been sensitive. I've tried to put people on to, like, you know, a certain YouTube video that I think was funny. And then they're like, this is trash. And it kind of hits your ego a little bit. You're kind of like, oh, you know, I don't really like that. I don't like when people find my, you know, things that I'm interested in that I hold a lot of pride in cringe. I get that. But again, if you know, if that person finds that cringe, like, they formed an opinion about it, it's pretty good. And the beauty of having an opinion is not everyone has to agree with you. Like, that's not how it works. You might like something, but somebody might not like that. And it's about being able to share different things and make your own opinion. And you got to expose yourself to a lot of things. You got to be around a lot of nerds in order to figure out what you actually nerd out about. But stop suppressing your inner ambition, your inner interests, because you don't think it's going to fit the grain. Who cares? The grain always changes. It always changes. Like, just because it is not cool amongst your friend group right now to like a certain thing, it doesn't mean you can't find people who appreciate that. My roommate makes fun of me all the time for my love of planes. He eggs me on. Does it get under my skin? Yeah, of course it does. But it's funny. It's funny because I get it, you know? Being interested in aviation is weird, whatever, okay? And liking mass transit. I just love trains. I love trains. And the day I get to go on a, you know, Japanese bullet train, I will literally, I will do unspeakable things. I will do unspeakable things. I will yell. I will be very excited. And who knows what will happen. I just think it's so cool. I'm such a nerd about it, bro. Like, they go so fast and they look so cool. And like the maglev trains, oh, don't even get me started. Okay, anyways. I know I can't share that kind of appreciation with him, and that's fine. That's totally cool. There are things that he's interested in that I don't really give a sigma about. Like, I'll be completely real. I'm like, okay, whatever. That at least I can relate the way that I feel about the things I feel about with the way that he feels about whatever he's interested in. You know what I mean? And I can respect that. And a nerd will always respect another nerd. That's the truth. That is the undisputed, like, nerd code. Is if you're a nerd and you meet somebody who's a nerd, you respect each other. Instant respect. Because you both have passion and you both care about things. And you both want to live a good life. And a good life has interests. It has hobbies. And some things are more on brand than others. And I get that. And, you know, it is what it is. Not everyone will get it, but not everyone has to get it. Jeez, man. You need to nerd out. What if I don't know what to be a nerd about? You are in the most beautiful, beautiful phase of any human being. Because what it means is you have a road to discovery, no Daft Punk, in front of you. You have basically the entire map to explore. Try things. Anything. Ask somebody who's doing something cool if you can do that thing. You have a friend who's into sneakers, and he's like, I'm going to go to this sneaker drop, or I'm going to go to this sneaker convention. Go with the friend. Even if you're not interested in it, just go and see. Because one thing will lead to another. You might not get interested in the sneakers. You might be like, I don't understand why people pay, you know, $4,000 for some limited edition J's. Doesn't make sense to me. Or why are people buying the Panda Dunks still in 2025? That's fine. But maybe that will lead you to understanding, yo, I'm actually super interested in clothing. I actually really like clothing. And actually, I want to design my own clothing. Great. Mission success. You have nerded out. But if you do not just put yourself out there, if you do not just like try something, you don't even try to go to that water polo practice that your friend invited you to just try it, then like you're going to stay nonchalant forever. Not a way to live life. The cool kids always win. And the cool kids, you will realize in your adult life, are the nerds. They were always the cool kids. They were always the cool kids. Even though they were a little bit weird, you know, maybe a little socially awkward. Happens. They were the cool kids. Be a nerd. My goodness, be a nerd. All of the times I conformed and I just sat complacent with everybody else, I never attracted people who I found interesting or worthy enough to be in my life. The minute I started to embrace who I actually was, what I was actually interested in, the minute I decided to go to a model train convention, because why not? Because it's sick that people do that, and they build cities, and they build little trains to go around the cities. Have y'all been to a model train convention? It is the coolest thing ever. The minute I started to do that, I met people I love. The minute I started to nerd out on here, I met you guys. I met the Zerky Show fam. And I cannot imagine my life without you guys. You all mean so much to me. And I want you to be passionate and be fearless in the way that you're passionate. And know that people will make fun of you and people will try to stomp out your joy because deep down, they're sad. They're sad and they're jealous that they cannot do what you do. They're upset that they cannot be interested in something like you because they are afraid of being made fun of. That's really the truth. I used to be a theater kid in middle school. And I remember I had a crush on this girl. I told the girl that I had a crush on her, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you liked girls." And I was like, "Really?" Not that there was anything wrong with that. Like, hey, respect. But like, damn, like, no, I like you. And she's like, "Oh, well, you did theater and acting and choir." And I remember I was so, just naive. I was like, okay, well, that means I have to quit all of those things if I want to be liked by girls. Biggest regret. Biggest regret. The one thing I wish I did was I wish I acted. I wish I was still in theater. I wish I did a play, an improv show, something in high school, and I never did. I never ended up doing that because I was jaded, and I was more caught up in my image and less caught up in the things that I was nerding about and the things that I loved. And I loved to act, and I loved to sing, and I loved to be myself. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. It's never worth being nonchalant. It's never worth trying to conform. At one point, yes, you have to grow up and you have to assume responsibilities. But you can keep your passions. Nobody is taking that away from you. Be a nerd. Promise me that. Maybe after this, you will finally sit down and journal about the things that you want to do this year. There's still a lot of time left. Maybe you will reconsider quitting a certain kind of activity because you're afraid it hurts your aura. Because the more that we focus on other people's perceptions, the less time we have to discover who we are. That's the truth. That's the truth, Zerky Show. Be a nerd. You have to nerd out. You need to nerd out. This is a non-negotiable in my book. Get interested, be interesting, and I promise you it will open doors to things you never even knew existed. Did you know that the Zerky Show is everywhere you go? What? That's right. You can watch it, you can scroll it, you can stream it. The choice is yours. If you want to tap in, this is the way to do it. Tap in. You've got mail. The Zerky Show is looking for people to send in a question, a letter, whatever you like, for a chance to be featured on a new show on the Zerky Show network called Mail Time with Zerky. If you want to send something in, this is the way to address it. I look forward to seeing what your beautiful mind comes up with. Do the things that bring you joy. Try something new. Try something and get passionate about it. Try to learn everything about it. Even if you don't stick with it, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you learn. Learning is so powerful. It is so important. And I know at school we're forced to learn, but when you learn for yourself, it is way different. And when you actually learn things you're passionate about and you like, you realize the true power of knowledge and the true power of learning. Other than that, I love you so much. I trust you so much to do things that are good for you and do things that you like. And Zerky Show, as always, I am sending you plenty of love and peace.